Hi, beautiful YouTube family. Lisa A. Romano here, the life coach, and today I want to talk about one of the things that you can do as a recovering codependent to help you stay out of the childhood programming, the negative childhood programming. So let's just recap quickly. This is 2016. Hello. Happy New Year. It's January 2nd. I'm really excited about the new year. And I believe this is going to be your best year yet. I know it is, because you have a whole plethora of information, especially on my channel, that's going to be able to help you completely recover. So just a quick recap. We are not our childhood programming. All of us have been, if you're here on this channel, chances are that you've been raised either by an alcoholic or a narcissist or someone who is completely self-absorbed. Perhaps mom was BPD or schizophrenic, blah, blah, blah. And I don't mean to minimize it, but you get the message. If you've been raised by a non-perfect parent or an abusive parent who emotionally neglected you, then you have been downloaded with faulty freaking information. You have been taught through repetition, observation, and consistency that who you are is not enough. And your pain versus pleasure principle, the aspects of the brain, the dynamic of the brain, which is supposed to keep you safe, has gone rogue. You have learned to associate pain with expressing your feelings, okay? Which is abnormal. Children are supposed to grow up feeling unconditional love. You're supposed to be able to go to your mother and tell her that you're angry. Go to dad that you're angry at your dad, at your mom. We're supposed to be raised in an environment of unconditional love and understanding. And Lordy knows, if you grew up in a dysfunctional home, that was not the case. Some of us, I'm not kidding, we're lucky we were even fed, okay? I have clients who were starved as children, which is disgusting. I have clients who were sexually abused by their parents, which is disgusting. So you name it. We have been someone out there, one of the family, our people in our community, we are all members of the same family. We're all connected. Someone in our human family has suffered at the hands of the people who were supposed to take care of them in disgusting of ways. And my channel is all about trying to heal those of us who have been abused in such a horrible way, and also to raise awareness so that people who haven't been abused in those ways develop compassion and empathy for those of us who have been, while at the same time developing compassion and empathy for your own self. We must develop empathy for the self, because that is one of the ways that we can heal and reconnect to our childhood experiences and begin to ascend. And we ascend when we learn to stop suppressing how we feel. But it's very frightening to confront how you feel. And Lord knows, I know all about that, because it was terrifying to embrace all the emotions that I suppressed as a child. But it was absolutely part of the healing journey. So, what prompted this video today was one of my clients, who shall remain nameless, but she knows I love her so much, got her wings today. Today was her final session. She is at a point in her recovery where she feels completely able to take care of herself and honor herself, and she's able to set boundaries with the people that she has dealt with her whole life. Some people have been more difficult to deal with than others, but she's at a point in her recovery where she understands why she was codependent, and she understood there go my dogs, please ignore them, and she understood along our coaching what she had to learn to do in order to heal from codependency. So I'm very proud of her. So I wanted to offer all of you who perhaps can't afford to coach, who can't afford psychotherapy, whatever, or who are using YouTube, which I think is so adorable. So many of you have written me and said, Lisa, is it okay that I use your channel and channels like Ross Rosenberg as a form of therapy? Dear one, if it works for you, absolutely. Remember, there are a lot of therapists out there that don't understand codependency. And it's sort of like, someone who has never been obese doesn't understand how difficult it is to not only be obese and exist in this world as an obese person, which is very difficult because the world judges you when you're overweight, but just like somebody who has never been obese, would never ever be able to understand how challenging it is to lose the weight, lose 100 pounds or lose 200 pounds. There are therapists out there that if they've never gone through codependent recovery, they've never disassociated, they've never been emotionally challenged or abused by narcissists or raised by alcoholics, they really don't know what the hell you're talking about. And so on your journey, it's going to be really, really important for you to understand that you deserve a therapist who understands what it's like to heal from codependency and what it feels like to be abused by a narcissist. Very oftentimes in therapy, there's triangulation. So you go into therapy with your narcissistic spouse, who you have brilliantly discovered is probably a narcissist, and you, dear one, think that you're on the right path by saying, hey, let's go into therapy. And lo and behold, you go into therapy and the therapist is like on their side, on the narcissist's side. And here you are reacting to the fact that you're being gaslighted in a covert way, of course. And because you're the one reacting, you look like the crazy person. So sometimes that happens. So do your homework, dear one. Do your homework. Ask questions. Call the therapy center. Interview this therapist before you throw down your insurance card. You must know that this person knows what they're talking about. Okay, now, so what I suggested to my lovely client this morning is that she must stay aware, okay? Because our patterns are in the amygdala and the hippocampus, okay? In the temporal lobes. We have amygdalas and hippocampuses in the temporal lobe in each side of the brain, in each hemisphere of the brain. So we have to understand that when we were children, our amygdala, which is very, it's tied to the emotional aspects. It's very much linked to fear. When we were children, we were in theta, Theta brainwave states primarily until we were 8 years old. And that's a very hypnotic state, brainwave state. And what happens in that state is that we get downloaded from everything that's being offered to us in our environment. I said in one of my earlier videos, this is why we believe in Santa Claus and his reindeers. And we believe in ghosts. And we believe in Easter bunnies. And we believe in magic and all that good stuff. Which is nice, but you know, we also believe in the bad stuff. By the time I was 8 years old, I received the information from my mother primarily that I was bad. I really believed that I was bad. I believed that I was worthless. By the time I was 7, my dad had told me that I was never allowed to say anything bad about my mommy because she worked so hard in the house. So I was taught that I am not allowed to tell the truth and I am not to talk about my feelings. So that became part of my programming in the amygdala and the hippocampus. Now, the reason that's so significant is because if we don't turn this switch on, the amygdala, and we don't force ourselves to wire to the prefrontal cortex up here, so we've got to get from the program to the front of the brain, we will not be able to heal and stay healed. We will revert back to the programming. I'm getting itchy, sorry. I don't know what that's about. I think it's the hair. Forgive me, dear ones. Ooh. But anyway, so what we want to do on the healing journey is commit ourselves in 2016, hello, January 2nd, today, commit ourselves to staying aware and highly conscious. Conscious. So how do we do that? Yes, dear ones, meditation is huge. YouTube is awesome. It is filled with thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of videos that are designed to help you heal in all different sorts of ways. So on my healing journey, I began doing guided pineal gland activation videos, meditations. I did loving this inner child meditations. Do your meditations, commit to them daily. Also, exercise. Exercise increases the secretion of endorphins in your brain, which will help you keep your mood elevated so you'll be depressed less. Especially if you're depressed, Personally, dear ones, I think that psychiatric units should all be equipped with stationary bicycles and treadmills. We have to put people who are clinically depressed and suicidal on treadmills. They are going over and over and over in their head. They're recycling these negative tapes that are in their head, which only depresses them and suppresses their ability to increase neurochemicals that are actually going to elevate the mood. And exercise elevates the mood naturally. So even if you hate to exercise, dear one, for me, please start exercising. Jump in place for 10 minutes. The other thing that I want you to start investigating is things that, exercises that are associated with brain gym. We need to exercise the brain. So what we're trying to do is we want brain syncing. We don't want to stay in our codependent childhood patterns, the ones that keep us stuck as codependents, being afraid to rock the boat, afraid to tell the truth, worrying more about what other people think than what we think about. Those programs are all locked in the amygdala and the hippocampuses. So what we want is brain syncing. We want neurological wiring to the prefrontal cortex. And I'm going to look very, very silly right now, but I don't care if it helps you. I'm going to do it. So the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. So science has discovered that when you take the right arm and you cross it across into the left hemisphere of the body, or the left side of the body, what happens is you get brain syncing. And when you cross the left side of the body into the right side of the body, what happens is your brain is kind of like activated and it's confused a little bit, but you want it guessing. You want your brain guessing. You want it out of the patterns. So what some neuroscientists are suggesting is that you begin doing exercises that are involved with having your arms cross your body. One of the things that I started doing was I started massaging acupuncture points in my ears this way by crossing my hands, so that my left hand is massaging my right ear and my right hand is massaging my left ear. And you want to do that for about 20 seconds. Another thing that you can do is you can cross your body and you can tap. A lot of you are into the EFT. Don't do it this way. Cross your arms and do it that way. I'm going to look real silly right now, but it's for you, dear ones. I want you to heal. I want you to ascend. I don't want you to be locked in dark energy. I want to raise the vibrations of the planet. So come up with interesting ways to use this. So yes, you can massage your ears, and then another thing that you can do is tap on either side of your head with opposite arms. You stand up and you do cross your legs like a jumping jack, but cross your right foot in front of your left foot back and forth. Anything that involves, even sometimes, this morning I was exercising downstairs in my gym, and I was crossing my eyes, just crossing the meridian. And if you do your own investigation, you will discover that this helps to activate the brain and it helps to sync the brain. Why is this so important for codependence? Because the problem is in the brain. The problem is in the programming. So dear ones, please, this year, do what I did. Commit to understanding the basics of your brain. I mean, if that's where all the problems are residing, isn't it smart to know how this tool works? Doesn't it just make sense? I mean, the amygdala and the hippocampus are tied to our emotions. You have to understand the limbic system. And you have to understand the absolute importance of brain syncing and moving your neural wiring to the prefrontal cortex. That's why the pineal gland activation videos are so important. Another thing that you can do is go into a dark room, shut the lights off in your kitchen or whatever, and get a candle. And raise the candle up on a surface that is equal to your vision, field of vision, and stare at the flame. Just stare at the flame. And what will happen is you'll go into a hypnotic state, a theta brainwave state, and then what you want to do is close your eyes and see if you can see the flame in the middle of your eye. That will help you activate the third eye, which is going to which is all related to the prefrontal cortex. You want to be able to also increase your ability to think with the prefrontal cortex, which is why I like tapping so much. It just helps you to remember prefrontal cortex, logic and reason, prefrontal cortex. The other thing that I think is really simple is that you must keep journaling, okay? Journaling helps you identify who you are. It keeps you connected to the essence of you. If, my client this morning, she got her wings this morning, but I warned her. I said to her, listen, you're going to have to every day, every single day, spend 10 or 15 minutes journaling about the way you feel. What are your needs for today? What are your wants for tomorrow? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? That type of cognitive thinking will keep you tethered to the soul and will keep you growing and moving forward. Now, it's very, 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 very important to continue to do that, because what happens when you're codependent is it's just too easy to slip back into the old routines and the old programs, worrying about what he said and she said and whatnot. So all of these ideas are designed so that your brain can begin appreciating who you are on a spiritual level and thus an emotional level. This information, we want to keep the channels from your brain to your soul open, because codependents oftentimes disassociate from their emotional body and are very concerned with what's happening outside of here and get caught up in what's happening on Facebook, which is a bunch of BS. Who cares, dear one, what's happening on Twitter? Oh my God. Get out and live, dear one. Get out and live. Make this your best year ever. Ever, 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 ever. So be careful with that Facebook and that Twitter stuff, because as codependents, we're looking for validation. And oftentimes we might not be aware that we post something, and in the back of our head, we're waiting to see who's going to validate it. That could bite you in the ass. Waiting to be validated by some people you will never meet. So, dear ones, this is your year. All the suggestions that I just made in this video, I really hope that you made some notes, and if you have to, go back and rewind the tape. And I promise you that if you begin to address codependent healing from a perspective, understanding the organ that has created this codependent mind and this codependent reality, I promise you it will catapult your recovery. It is my promise to you. Dear ones, look forward to my webinar that's upcoming with Mr. Ross Rosenberg on February 13th. It's going to be called Banishing Fear, Finding the Courage to Heal from Codependency and Self-Love Deficit Disorder, because we all know, when you don't love yourself, then you are definitely going to be challenged when it comes to codependency. So we're going to talk about it, we're going to address it, we're going to pull it apart, and we're going to heal from it and encourage you to do what you need to do to find the courage to heal completely. In love and light, dear one, I'm bowing to the love and light in you. Namaste.